What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Wednesday, July 24th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 15:56 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Romania. So, last night, Russia launched a massive drone attack on a Ukrainian port right on the border of Romania on the Danube River. This was the port of Ismail, and Russia has struck this port several times in the past. The most notable time was when they hit a bunch of grain shipments at that port that Ukraine was trying to ship out to Africa. And this time, apparently, they were targeting NATO weapons shipments. But what's very concerning is we have unconfirmed reports that some of these Russian drones actually crashed into Romania, which isn't the first time that has happened. Also, this happened like last year on two or three occasions. Russian drones crashed into Romania, but we're hearing right now that one drone crashed into the border village of Ploru, and then another drone crashed into the village of Isakia, which is 50 kilometers away from the border of Ukraine. So this is very, very serious, guys, and the mainstream media is not covering this. Now, when this went down last night, we had a flurry of nuclear attack options broadcasted by U.S. nuclear forces, and there were also a bunch of Russian doomsday planes that were up in the air. So potentially last night we might have been close to nuclear war. And this afternoon, we have U.S. nuclear forces on high alert. What you're looking at here is a presidential doomsday plane that was flying with its transponder off over the Dakotas and is heading east towards Ohio. We also have a nuke sniffer up in the air and a combat sentinel up in the air, which is used to pick up enemy radars. And they send that information directly to the president and the top generals. We only have two of the combat sentinels in the U.S. Air Force. So if one of them is up in the air somewhere, it means something serious is going on. And then we also have two nuclear war command and control planes up in the air. So our nuclear forces are on high alert. We also have some very concerning news coming out of Russia. Apparently, another Russian power plant had to undergo an emergency shutdown. Gazprom's thermal power plant 27 went through an emergency shutdown in Metishchi due to technical problems, which have resulted in blackouts in the Moscow region. Moscow is the capital of Russia. And what's interesting is last week at the Rostov nuclear power plant, the Russians had to shut down one reactor due to some unknown issue. And that caused blackouts all across southern Russia from the Caucasus to the Ukraine border. So this is very strange to have two of these power plants undergo emergency shutdowns in just less than 2 weeks. Okay, I don't think it's a coincidence. Maybe Ukraine is cyber attacking them. That's what it sounds like to me. Speaking of cyber attacks, we're hearing that Leidos was attacked by hackers, and apparently hackers have leaked internal documents they exfiltrated from Leidos. Now, Leidos is one of the largest IT and cybersecurity service providers to corporations and the U.S. government. Some of Leidos' clients include the Pentagon, Homeland Security, and NASA. Okay, so what a big cluster F. Absolutely insane, guys. This update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithnyprepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, you just got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. And we also have some breaking news coming from FBI Director Christopher Wray. So he testified in front of Congress today, and he said that the gunman who tried to take out Trump apparently searched for the distance between Lee Oswald and JFK in 1963. So very interesting. He was researching the JFK assassination. Wray also said that the shooter flew a drone over the area 2 hours before Trump's campaign speech and had 2 relatively crude explosives in his car. The gunman first visited the rally grounds a week before the event for about 20 minutes, Wray said. The shooter then visited the grounds the morning of the rally for about 70 minutes and then went back for good in the afternoon. Apparently, the FBI is studying 2 explosives in the shooter's car and 1 in his residence, Wray said. The devices were connected to receivers, and the shooter had a receiver with him when he was killed by a Secret Service sniper, but the equipment didn't appear capable of setting off what he called relatively crude devices. So very interesting. And Wray said that investigators now believe the gunman climbed onto the roof with the help of mechanical equipment on the ground and piping on the side of the building rather than a ladder. We do not believe he used a ladder to get up there, Wray said. Wow, very interesting. And that's if you believe the official narrative, which I personally don't. I think that there's something weird with this assassination attempt. I don't believe the official story. I think this was the powers that be, the Illuminati, the New World Order. They have their hands all over this, and the evidence is clear to me. The timing of it, it's just clear to me that this was not an organic assassination attempt. This was a planned event, a staged event, and something's going on here. And the Secret Service is now recommending that Trump stop holding outdoor rallies. And an 80-year-old man who supports President Trump is now in critical condition in Michigan after a 22-year-old man intentionally ran the elderly man over with an ATV on Sunday for supporting Donald Trump. This came one day after Trump's rally in Michigan on Saturday, which was his first rally since he survived the assassination attempt. The 22-year-old who ran the elderly man over committed suicide by gunshot after he was identified by the City of Hancock Police Department as the individual suspected of vandalizing property and running over an 80-year-old man with an ATV. So, very strange situation. This guy runs over a Trump supporter with an ATV and then commits suicide. That sounds a lot like MK Ultra. Do you guys know what MK Ultra is? If not, you should look it up. MK Ultra was a CIA mind control experiment that they did in the early days of the Cold War. And what they basically did was gave huge doses of LSD to homeless people and mentally ill people. And they wanted to see if basically if they gave them enough LSD, if it would cause them to lose their identity and completely erase their memory. And then at that point, they could reprogram their memory and make them believe there's somebody else. Okay. And this is actually true. You can look it up. I'm not making this up. This is not a conspiracy. This is fact. Okay. Project MK Ultra. Look it up. This sounds like an MK Ultra situation. Maybe this was an MK Ultra agent that was told to do this in order to amp up everything and amp up the Trump supporters in time for the election. And the Trump campaign has filed an FEC complaint accusing Biden and Harris of illegally transferring $91.5 million in leftover campaign funds to Kamala Harris's committee. Trump campaign general counsel David Warrington said Kamala Harris is seeking to perpetrate a $91.5 million heist of Joe Biden's leftover campaign cash, a brazen money grab that would constitute the single largest excessive contribution and biggest violation in the history of the Federal Election Campaign Act of 1971. So basically, they want to transfer Biden's $91 million he has left over from his campaign to Kamala Harris, and they're filing a complaint with the Federal Election Commission. And a new Yahoo poll has Trump and Kamala Harris tied at 46%. And Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, and Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin will leave their positions if Kamala Harris wins, according to the Wall Street Journal. So very interesting. And switching gears to Ukraine, the Ukrainian coal power plant operator DTEC aims to recover 60 to 70% of its power generation capacity by October. Now, this is the Ukrainian energy company that had 90% of its power plants destroyed by Russian missile strikes this year. So they want to recover 60 to 70% of the ones that got destroyed before October, because winter comes fast in Eastern Europe, and with 90% of the coal-fired power plants not working in Ukraine, that's going to be a problem for heating and electricity. A Russian missile attack in Kharkiv destroyed the office of a Swiss non-governmental organization dealing with demining. Very interesting. We've seen Russia conduct these precision strikes on foreign organizations in Ukraine. I don't know if that's to intimidate foreign companies and foreign agencies and foreign organizations from coming to Ukraine, or if they really truly believe that there's some espionage or some kind of activity going on there. I don't know. And Hungary is going to block aid to Ukraine within the EU because of Ukraine's stoppage of oil transit. This was confirmed by Foreign Minister Sajardo. And the deputy head of the Satellite Communications Center of the Russian military, Andrei Torgashov, and his wife were killed in an explosion in the Toyota Prado in Moscow. So the deputy head of satellite communications of the Russian military was taken out along with his wife. Very interesting. And Netanyahu gave his speech to Congress today. It was an hour long. I listened to the whole thing. I'll give you guys my summary. So 80 congressmen did not show up, and there were huge protests outside of the Capitol building. Netanyahu blamed Iran for all of the chaos in the Middle East, including attacks on American bases, and warned that America would be attacked next after Israel by Iran. He also talked about Hezbollah. He said that 80,000 Israeli citizens had to evacuate northern Israel due to Hezbollah attacks. And he said he would prefer to return them back to their homes in northern Israel diplomatically, but he said Israel will do whatever is necessary to return them home. He also mentioned the Houthis, and he warned that anyone who attacks Israel will pay a very heavy price. He thanked America for having Israel's back. And Netanyahu will meet with Biden tomorrow, and then he's also going to be going to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump. And yesterday, Israeli warplanes were seen over Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, and its suburbs. Okay, so another sign that Israel is preparing for war. Want to show you guys some activity we had last night over Europe. We had a lot of reconnaissance activity over Europe. So here we have a Norwegian sub-hunter plane that flew to Russia's Northern Fleet base in Murmansk. That's very concerning. And we had a ton of reconnaissance over Poland, especially last night. There were like 3 or 4 reconnaissance planes over northern and eastern Poland. Here you can see a U.S. RC-135 rivet joint that flew all the way up to northern Finland and then came all the way back down. It flew along the Russian border with the Baltics, and then it flew through Poland. We had a French Air Force reconnaissance plane fly around Kaliningrad and along Lithuania's border with Belarus. That's pretty unusual. And lately, we've been seeing the U.S. Air Force RQ-4 Global Hawks patrolling northern and eastern Poland on a daily basis now. They used to do it in the Black Sea, but since Russia threatened to shoot them down, they've now been deploying them to Poland. So here's a closer look. You can see Forte 13 doing loops here along Poland's border with Kaliningrad and along Poland's border with Belarus. You can see a Swedish reconnaissance plane here. And then there was also an Italian C-130 that was looping off the coast of Kaliningrad near Gdańsk in Poland. Here you can see the French reconnaissance plane. It went around Kaliningrad and then it was flying along the border of Lithuania and Belarus and Poland and Belarus in this critical area here near northwestern Belarus, where Belarus moved mechanized brigades like 3 or 4 months ago, right near Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania. Guys, the capital of Lithuania is literally only 20 miles away from Belarus, and Belarus has stationed thousands of troops there. We know that Chinese forces have moved into Belarus 3 weeks ago, and they most recently did an exercise where they practiced seizing control of an airport, and this took place in southwestern Belarus, literally 2 miles away from the Polish border. The Chinese forces, Chinese paratroopers, were training with Russian and Belarusian troops on seizing an airport. Okay, and we know Poland is now going to be building the largest border fortification since World War II, 50 kilometers wide in some areas, okay, which is just absolutely insane. We had a Russian Air Force plane go to Kaliningrad earlier today, which is very concerning. We also had this Skynet plane. Literally, the call sign is Skynet, and there's no information about it, no registration information, no aircraft information. It was flying at 23,000 feet. It was also flying yesterday in this area. Very, very strange. Call sign Skynet. Okay, how concerning is that? Very, very concerning. And here we have a U.S. Navy reconnaissance drone that was patrolling the eastern Mediterranean last night along the Lebanon coastline near Beirut. You can see it was doing several loops near Syria and Lebanon. Very, very concerning. And then we also had a Greek Coast Guard patrolling the island of Crete. There's a lot of NATO forces here in Chania. There's a lot of NATO forces here. They've been patrolling this area the last couple of days. I'm not exactly sure why. All of a sudden, they're patrolling Crete, but it's very concerning. And we have some pictures emerging from the world's largest naval exercise being led by the United States. It's called RIMPAC 24. And here you can see over 35 multinational warships in formation with a U.S. aircraft carrier leading them. This was right off the coast of Hawaii. This was 2 days ago on July the 22nd. And RIMPAC includes 29 nations, 40 surface ships, 3 submarines, 14 national land forces, more than 150 aircraft, and 25,000 personnel. And this is going to happen right around Hawaii from June 27th through August the 1st. So it started a month ago and it's about to end. So they've been training right off the coast of Hawaii. guys, if this isn't a sign that World War III is coming, I don't know what is. Okay, I mean, look at this. Okay, they are preparing for a massive naval war in the Asia Pacific region, guys. They've been arming Australia. They're giving Australia Tomahawk missiles. They're giving them nuclear powered subs. They moved the Typhoon missile system to the Philippines, which can launch either Tomahawk missiles, which are nuclear capable, or SM-6 ballistic missile interceptors. Okay. And South Korea's Presidential Security Service announced that a trash carrying balloon sent by North Korea landed in the South Korean presidential compound. Wow. So that would be like if Mexico sent balloons filled with trash into the White House. Absolutely insane. And South Korea is not ruling out the possibility that North Korea might distribute leaflets via drones or use artillery fire to bombard launch locations of anti-North Korean balloons. Okay, so things are really heating up there in Korea. And German special forces recently oversaw the closure of the Islamic Center funded by the Iranian regime in Hamburg, Germany. Here we have a video of that. The center was apparently funded by Ayatollah Khamenei in Hamburg, Germany. So it's good to see the German police doing something about this. We've seen this invasion of Western Europe by Islamic extremists. So this is a good sign. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a change in German policy. So very, very good news here. They're raiding this compound. And we have a bunch of wildfires active in Canada right now. Hundreds of wildfires, 919 active wildfires in Canada. Absolutely insane. And a British fishing vessel sunk off the coast of the Falkland Islands. Apparently 6 crew members are confirmed dead and 7 missing. So is it possible that we're going to see a war between Britain and Argentina again over the Falkland Islands? I don't know, guys, because the new president of Argentina said that he wants to restore sovereignty over the Falkland Islands. Okay, so Britain still claims control over it, but Argentina wants it back. Okay, and that's why they had that war back in the 80s, the big bloody war over the Falkland Islands. It could happen again. And Mount Etna erupted for the 4th time today this month. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on with more breaking news, so make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon down below so you get notified when I post these updates. Also, follow me on Telegram and Twitter. The links are in the description below this video. And until next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.